Welcome to the Crochet Hangout. I'm Kendra, and today we'll be making the Rainbow's End coasters. These cheerful coasters can be completed using scrap yarn, or you can make up a bunch to keep on hand. The Rainbow's End coasters also feature a subtle puffy cloud, which is created with a simple combination of basic stitches. To get your own printable PDF pattern of the Rainbow's End coasters, head over to crochethangout.com, where you'll find patterns, tutorials, and more. Materials include peaches and cream or any other 100% cotton yarn in a size 4 medium worsted weight. In this case, we're using the colors red, bright orange, gold, forest green, bright blue, black currant, as well as white. You will also need a size G hook, 4.0 millimeters. This hook has a squishy ergonomic handle. A regular metal handle would work just as well. In addition, you're going to require a tapestry needle for sewing in your ends. And that's it. Like, you can use individual skeins of each color as we are here, or go stash diving for those little bits and pieces you have left from other projects and assemble your own rainbow that way. You can go ahead and follow the directions I'm going to give you now to create a foundation single crochet row. Or if you'd prefer, just go ahead and chain 13 and single crochet into each stitch, giving you 12 single crochets. To begin our foundation single crochet row, we're just going to make a slip knot by wrapping around our finger, sliding in our hook, and drawing up a loop. Now we're hooked on to our hook. We're going to start by chaining 2. Then you're going to slide your hook into the first chain, being sure that you have both the front and back loop of that chain on the top of your hook. We're going to yarn over and draw up a loop. This has essentially created our first chain stitch. Now we're going to yarn over, draw up another loop. That's the first step of your normal single crochet. Yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on your hook, and your first foundation single crochet is complete. Now, you're going to stick your hook into what was your chain row that you're now creating. You'll see there's some V's kind of on the bottom when you turn it over. You slide your hook in, being sure that you have both loops over your hook, yarn over, and draw up a loop. That's your second chain made. Yarn over, draw up a loop. That's the beginning of your second single crochet. Yarn over through both loops on your hook to complete your second foundation single crochet. We're just going to turn it over again. You'll see those V stitches, which are just your chain in progress. You're going to slide your hook in, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop to begin your single crochet, yarn over through both loops to finish your single crochet. So now we're on to our 4th stitch, and I usually just think of it as putting my hook in, making sure I have both of those loops. And you're going to chain, then I start my stitch and finish it. That's 4 stitches. Chain, start your stitch, and finish it. Chain, start your stitch, and finish it. You're just going to continue till you have 12 foundation single crochets completed. I'll meet you at that point to show you how we move on to row number 2. Now that I finished row 1, we're just going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to go in to, as you can see, you'll see our single crochets that we created. Just going to slide your hook into that very first stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over through both loops on your hook to complete your first single crochet. The same way, stitch number 2, draw up a loop, yarn over through both stitches on your hook. You're going to continue along the row, making 12 stitches, 1 in each of your beginning row. And if your cotton yarn can frequently have the plies kind of come apart on you, don't feel bad. It's just the nature of the yarn, and just make sure you go back and pick up the plies though, because if you don't, you will notice in your finished piece there'll be these little bits kind of sticking out of the sides, and you don't want that. So we're just going to keep going till the end of our row. Try not to get hung up on anything. There we go. I do recommend that you go back and count your stitches just to make sure you put everything in the right place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches. Row 3 is going to begin with a chain 1, turn, and you're going to work, again, 12 single crochets. The only difference in this row is that in our very last stitch, we're going to change color to color B, which is our orange. So we're just going to continue across. And when we get to our final stitch, we're going to change to color B, which is our orange. So we go to our final stitch and you're going to slide your hook in and draw up a loop. Now you are not going to finish the stitch in the red, instead we're going to finish it in the orange. So I'm just going to get my orange yarn over, and I'm going to just pull it through, finishing my stitch with the orange. I'm going to just pull on the red, make sure that everything's nice and tightened up. I'm at this point going to trim my red. I'm just going to trim my tail about the length of my coaster. It doesn't have to be crazy long. Now I'm just going to stick both of these tails behind. We're going to move on to row 4. I'm going to just chain 1 and turn my work. Now you could just work over both of these tails, but I find that that muddies your line. So I'm actually just going to leave my red tail hanging out. I will weave that in later, but I am going to work over my orange tail. I found that working over the color you're working with kept the color line smooth, but if I worked over both of them, it made it look a little bit more messy. So you're just going to work over your tail. Just a nice way to keep it all in. If you want, you can go and just weave in all of your ends at the end, but in a rainbowed piece, that is a lot of weaving. And personally, I like to avoid as much weaving as possible by just working my ends in wherever I feel it does not take away from the overall design of the piece. And now I'm at a spot where the yarn just really, there we go. So once you've worked over far enough, I just leave a little bit hanging out, that way I can trim. So you're just going to work to the end of row 4. And when you've reached your end, again, this is a good point to check that your stitches are even. That will help to make sure that your coaster has nice straight sides. And you especially want to keep your top edge very clean because, as you can see, in our finished product, we are working the colored rows, then we're going to turn it and add our clouds to one end, but one side is not going to be finished beyond the chaining that we do in our actual body colors. So you're going to want to make sure to keep your edge nice and clean because it will be visible on your finished product. So now that you've completed row number 4, you're just going to chain 1 and turn and do the same thing that you did with the red. You're going to complete 3 rows in the color orange. Then you're going to change to the color yellow in your 3rd row. You're going to continue in this sequence with your red, your orange, color C, which is our gold, color D, which is our forest green, color E, which is our bright blue, and color F, which is our black currant. At the end of your final row of the black currant, which is row 18, you're just going to do your 12 single crochets all the way across, finishing that last stitch in the black currant, and you're going to fasten off and trim your yarn. I will meet you at this point to show you how we're going to apply our cloud edging. So as you can see, I have completed our colored section and I wove in all of my ends. So now we're ready to do our edging, which is going to be worked in color G, which is our white. As you'll notice here, we're just going to go ahead and join and work our cloud along the long edge and then finish it off. I'm going to slip stitch and join our white right here in our first stitch. Just going to slide my hook in to that foundation single crochet, yarn over, draw up a loop, making sure that I get through all the plies of all the yarns, put my tail in the back, yarn over, and slip stitch to attach. Now we're just going to chain 1, and we're going to put 18 single crochets along the edge. You conveniently have 18 rows, so you're going to put 1 single crochet in the edge of each of your rows along the way. So we're going to begin row 20 by chaining 1, turning our work, and we're going to put a single crochet in each stitch across for 18 single crochets. I'll meet you at the end of row 20. Row 21 is going to begin with a chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Then we're going to work a sequence of stitches 3 times across the edge. The sequence is single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet. And a treble crochet, if you're unfamiliar, is formed by wrapping twice, inserting your hook, drawing up a loop, then going through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. So it's basically like doing a double crochet but with an extra loop, makes it a treble crochet. Next we're going to do a double crochet, a half double crochet. Now we're going to begin our repeat again, inserting a single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, so we're going to yarn over twice, double crochet, and a half double crochet. And we're going to work one more time, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, double crochet. We're going to end our round with a half double crochet. Then we're going to move on to row 22, which is just going to be a repeat of row 21. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, we're going to go single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, double crochet, half double crochet. We're going to repeat that again, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, double crochet, half double crochet. We're going to repeat one more time, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, double crochet. We're going to end our coaster with a half double crochet. We're going to fasten off by yarning over and pulling through and trimming our yarn. As you can see, rows 21 and 22 being slightly offset is what gives you the kind of ripply cloud texture. The nice thing with this coaster is that if you want a really flat one, you can kind of smooth them out and you'll get a flat texture, or you can just kind of poof it up a little and you get these fun kind of little bit of billowy clouds when your drink is set on it. At this point, you can go ahead and weave in your ends and trim your yarn. And here we have our completed Rainbow's End coasters. They use very little of each color yarn, so it's very quick and efficient to use scraps, or you can make quite a few out of a ball of yarn. To get your own copy of the printable PDF pattern, make sure that you head over to crochethangout.com, where you'll find patterns, tutorials, and more. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Bye!